And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast. We just wrapped up with the first three matches with the winners match of Group D, and now we have returned with the elimination match. Welcome also one and all to the StarCraft Evolution League. I did notice some people were actually inquiring and asking about the mod itself. Some people even asking if this was on in Brood War or SE1. This is a mod in SE2. It is a mod in StarCraft 2 that does kind of in a way blend together the races of Brood War and StarCraft 2. They don't merge the races, they leave them separate. I should emphasize that as well. They are separate races, so in this kind of game mode or in this tournament, essentially there are 6 races. There's SE2 variants of Zerg, Protoss, and Terran, and Brood War variants of Zerg, Protoss, and Terran as well. So 6 races, but there is also a very important limitation here when it comes to how these matches can shape up. I don't know if you noticed, but it is always forced, or I should say it is always enforced, that the way this tournament series work and the way these matches work is that it is always Brood War versus SE2. You never see Brood War versus Brood War or SE2 versus SE2. That does not occur. So in a way, it's not really 6 races. I mean, it kind of is, but at the same time, you're never really balancing for the Brood War races versus the Brood War races. In a way, that makes it a little bit easier to balance because there are certain things you don't have to consider. Which I'm sure it does make things a little bit easier. The game is balanced around Brood War versus SE2. Just as a heads up. And yeah, it's quite refreshing. It's a lot of fun to kind of jump into this, and always really exciting to see these big SE2 names go up against these other players that otherwise focus and devote a lot more attention and time into StarCraft Evolution instead, StarCraft Evolution even. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, of course, and that's why Dark was a dark horse coming into this group. Dark, I'm pretty sure he hasn't played much of this at all, much of StarCraft Evolution. So really, it feels like he's relying on his own SE2 skill and own SE2 play here to try to carry him through this and brute force his way through, and it could still work. He is in the decider match, but until then we have the elimination match. We have a TvP, HonMonO versus Ateshi. Let's go. Let us go. As we're jumping into game 1, it's going to be on Whispers of Gold. As we settle into game 1, HonMonO is going to be rocking SE2, Ateshi going to be rocking Brood War. We go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the I should fix that up as well. We have the red Terran player, the South Korean Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the pink Protoss player, also from South Korea, the Brood War Protoss. It is Ateshi. Here we go. TvP is upon us, and let's go. As HonMonO, he is a very aggressive, very cheesy player. That is his reputation. That's what he's known for, especially in this matchup. We've seen HonMonO take down some big names in the past. He has even taken maps off of max packs in SE2 with builds like this, with all-ins. So, I mean, hey, if HonMonO can take down max packs, he can take down any Protoss player out there. But this time, Ateshi, he scouts. Again, HonMonO has a reputation, and Ateshi is aware that he denies the proxy. Let's go! The question mark at a HonMonO. The GLHF gets thrown down, and the build there's been a wrench thrown in the works here for HonMonO. He has to try to deviate and try to transition out of his initial proxy 3 racks. And again, despite the question mark there, I mentioned before that HonMonO, he has a reputation. He has a big reputation. Everyone knows he cheeses. Everyone knows that he is one to proxy as well. So I do not blame, and I do fully understand Ateshi for scouting and checking for something like that. Does make sense. I mean, hey, we even saw HonMonO cheese, or try to cheese Uthermal twice in his last series with proxy 3 axes. Ay. So far so good by Ateshi. Meanwhile, HonMonO trying to transition back at home, going double gas leading into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. So yeah, it's a rough start. It is a rough start for HonMonO to try to, again, recover from an otherwise disrupted build and disrupted start. As Ateshi is in position to delay the expansion. Again, as a reminder, because of the double gas, it is going to be a factory before CC, and Ateshi does confirm. Ateshi confirms the factory. Back at home, we do have prioritization here of Dragoon range. Dragoon production has begun, and this is kind of the bread and butter here of PvT here. I mean, typically in this matchup is going to be Dragoons in towards the mid game. So far, so good. Meanwhile, from the side of HonMonO, it is not a sure thing that HonMonO is going to expand. There is a chance that he goes for a starport or a second Rax or a third Rax all on one base, as reactor cyclone production has begun, and HonMonO has yet to expand. Thankfully, does have an SCV in position, and he should soon be throwing down a CC. The probe does confirm still no expansion, dips into the main, and gets eyes on the add-on swap, gets eyes on the reactored factory. Now, for all Ateshi knows, it could be reactored Hellion, true. It could be reactored Hellion with like a proxy medevac or proxy starboard for like a Hellion drop. So Ateshi is still a little bit in the dark as to what's going on. Oh, and that is a second factory. Oh boy, it's going to be mech. It's going to be, I think, Mass Cyclone even from HonMonO. As the probe gets shut down, the Cyclones are revealed. Back at home, we do have Ateshi actually getting into his own shuttle. Interesting. Getting into shuttle production early on. No bay yet. No bay into, like, Reaver. Speaking of, there it is. As I was saying, we now see a bay in towards Reaver production, so it looks like Ateshi's trying to work towards a Reaver drop. But before we can get there, we have to survive the Cyclones here of HonMonO. And I am concerned for Ateshi. I'm concerned. As Cyclones are amassing. HonMonO soon to break out. I believe Ateshi is still unaware. He does not really know what HonMonO is up to. He didn't see the follow-up factory, the follow-up tech. All that Ateshi knows is the first two Cyclones, and that's pretty standard. Like, it's not uncommon to open up Cyclone in this matchup. And the worst case scenario, I can see it already here, is if the shuttle gets caught. And I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping the shuttle doesn't get caught out by all these Cyclones. As HonMonO moves out, investing into Hurricane thrusters. Sorry, Hurricane engines, the other one. Oh, the Observer does get eyes on the army. Nice movement here from Ateshi. Does spot the Cyclones. Reaver coming in from behind. Bold move. Going for the Cyclones. Oof. Shot goes off. Dragoons from behind. And the Cyclones, they get zoned away. So nice handling of the situation here by Ateshi. As he did spot the army. What might get set up. Alas, there is detection. What might goes down. Once again, you see HonMonO, he is hunting for that shuttle. Does catch the Dragoons. Oh my god. Insane connections, insane lock-ons. Two Dragoons go down. HonMonO, he's on the chase at the same time. Reaver gets into the main. HonMonO does pull away in time, losing 2 SCV so far. He wants the up. Oh my god, massive connection. 7 SCV kills. Yeah, massive shot goes off. Another shot here on the first Cyclone. Second shot as well. But it looks like the shuttle's going to be shut down. With 2 Cyclones, there's no escape. Oof. Goes for the SCVs, gets 13. Oh my god, that makes it worth it. Gets a Cyclone, gets 13 SCV kills. Not bad for 1 Reaver and 1 shuttle. But now Ateshi has to defend. Now HonMonO has gained map control. He has gained map control. He has Mass Cyclone. He's pushing in between the bases. Gets a transferring worker. Ooh, will bleed out a Cyclone though. Almost 2. As he's still committed to Mass Cyclone. Pushing up a ramp. Shield batteries are finishing up. One of them barely was not in range though. Oh. Waterman shot not baited out. As HonMonO is still looking for another way in. And HonMonO, he's down to 28 SCVs. Oh my god, barely an economy, but he has mules. True. Does have mules. He can hold his own. Likewise, catching another Dragoon. Again, very efficient trades here from HonMonO. He shuffles back the weakened Cyclones, shuffles forward the high HP Cyclones. And he's still just going pure Cyclone. Let's go. We're playing like it's the start of 2024. We're playing with the old Cyclone again. Kappa. This was a dark time in Legacy of the Void history, which was, you know, actually pretty recent as well, for those that remember. The previous iteration of the Cyclone and Mass Cyclone that was happening in every matchup, actually. And TvT turned into just Cyclone versus Cyclone. Again, this was just at the start of the year. This isn't quite that, but you know. It's giving me some PTSD, baby. Some PTSD. Oh, no. Cyclones are building up. Likewise, Ateshi attempting to stabilize, getting into his own Charge or Archon, which is going to be a much more efficient army composition. Against Dragoons, Cyclones, they do trade quite nicely. Against Charge, though, it's less so. And that's what we need really here. More than anything, is going to be those Charge thoughts. Rear shot goes off. Reconnection. Gets the Cyclone. Zealot legs are now researched. Shuttle's on the way. There was a bit of a misrally there, and oh, we could have saved it with the shuttle. No. But did kill his own Zealot. Oh, he's moving up the shuttle. The Cyclone's in position. No, not like this. The shuttle. Shuttle goes down. 2 Reavers as well. That was 2 Reavers. Ay, ay, ay. That's what HonMonO was looking for. That's what he wanted, Papi. Takes down both Reavers. Pushes through. Getting on top of the Dragoons. Trying his best here to trade. Once again, the Zealot's doing a great job at tanking those lock-ons. Does tank as best he can. Mind shot going off. Ateshi is holding. Is holding on for the time being, but his Reaver count was completely reset. Oh. And HonMonO is making 6 Cyclones at a time. Ah, no. Not like this, Papi. Not like this. As Reavers a 2 poke in. Oh, once again trading with those Zealots. Rotating around. Likewise, DT Harassir across the map. Gets a couple of SCVs, but HonMonO he is for the most part in position. This position does keep up. Catching more transfer workers. Again, this is just a brutal angle here for Ateshi to defend. Bleeding out more Zealots. Trading with the army. As HonMonO he has 2 massive groups of Cyclones now. One on the left, one on the right. Gonna be diving in. Up. Bleeding out a Cyclone, bleeding out 2. At the same time pushes on forward. Ooh, gets a High Templar. There's 3 High Templar left. Sorry, 4 left even. Again, this brutal army is just so much more immobile. And HonMonO is just trying to abuse that. Oh god, getting another Dragoon. But again, this is the reason why something like Mass Cyclone is more viable here against brutal units. As you can imagine, charge lots are quite different between SE2 and Brood War, for example. Where here they're just a little bit faster. The ability charge itself in SE2 allows Zealots to close the distance and get on top of the Cyclones. Likewise, Stalkers can blink, they can break lock-ons or dive on Cyclones. Here, Dragoons, much less mobile, right? They don't really have that kind of capability here. Because of that, this Gateway army is just having a bit of a harder time against the Cyclones. It's having a much harder time. But we have Storms at least. The Storms are here. Not again! Oh my god. Calm down. Don't lose the shuttle. Not again, Bobby. Not again. Ateshi, be careful. As the Reavers are like, well, there's at least one Reaver behind this. HonMonO is still maintaining map control. His army is spotted by the Dark Templar. Ateshi going into Skytoss, at least trying to. Stargates are on the way. Up. Macho going up. Likewise, Blue Flame run by into the mineral line. Probes are going down. Oh my god. 7 workers do fall. The probes themselves, they will clean this up. They will be able to hold their own. That's still 9 probe kills. Ateshi breaks out. Does try to break out. Again, there are at least storms behind this to support the army. HonMonO, he is now incorporating more Hellions and Widowmines. Fleet beacons on the way. Carrier. I have yet to see proper Skytoss or late game Skytoss in SE Evo. I've not seen Carrier in StarCraft Evolution yet. Can we get there? As Cyclones, they do once again hit the 3rd base. Ateshi out of position. Remember, there's no recall. No without an Arbiter. So HonMonO, he forces the entire army back home. Oh no! The shuttle! Brutal lockers. The shuttle goes down! 4 High Templar! No! Bappy! Ateshi losing 2 full shuttles this game, and he doesn't get a single storm off. Mate, we gotta stop. We gotta stop making. It's not working. It's not paying off, Bappy. Stop making shuttles. It's hurting you more than anything. Another shuttle's on the way. Once again, I imagine with more High Templar. Cyclones poking in. +1 ship weapons on the way. Carriers to turret. Let's go. The carriers are coming. At the same time, another Blue Flame run by. Oh my god, the probes are stacking up. They light up 15 probes and 2 volleys. 19. 3 volleys. They get 20 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. Ateshi's being pulled apart. Again, this is just such a mobile army that he's up against. HonMonO poking back in, back out, time and time again. Ateshi cannot keep up. Tanks have now arrived. HonMonO is switching into tank production. Master Tank Volley is going off. Drilling Claws is done. Once again coming in. There with the first storm. First storm gets placed, but Cyclones, they avoid the storm damage. Oh, more storms though. Finally they pop off. They shut down some of the Cyclones. But it doesn't matter at this point because the economy has been crippled. HonMonO rallying across the map. Widowmines are restarting. They are resetting. They're ready for another shot. Oof. Oh my god. Massive tank boy is going off on the Dragoons. Mine shots as well. 4th base under fire. And Ateshi just bleeding out too many units, bleeding out too many gateway units here. The carriers, they finally arrive, but it's only 2 carriers, and against Matt Cyclone, I mean, Cyclones, they shoot up. GG gets called. We don't get to experience the carrier, and HonMonO takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. HonMonO will take a lead here in the series. And yeah, unfortunately, Ateshi was never able to stabilize. So was never able to stabilize, never able to really get map control away from HonMonO. Just the mass cycle and harass and aggression was just too much. On top of that, didn't help either that Ateshi lost two Reavers in a shuttle and 4 High Templar in a shuttle as well. It was brutal to see those losses. It did set him back. Without them, I believe that was the goal, to get into whether it's Storm or Reavers, splash damage regardless, to be able to use that as kind of like an anchor point to break out and to force back the Cyclones, but it never really came to pass, and GG. GG, well played. HonMonO did successfully pull him apart, and now we are getting into game number 2. Let's go. We'll see if Ateshi can bring it back here and now, or if the series ends and we have HonMonO making it through into the decider match instead. Storm animation is cool, 100%. I do enjoy this. Like, the storm animation, it just hits different. it's just built different, Bobby. It hits hard and it hits fast. I don't know why, but it, like, even just visually and the sound design as well, it just feels like the SE2 Storm just doesn't hit the same, you know? Doesn't quite hit the same, but here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top right, or in the top center of Sylphid, we have the Brood War Protoss player, the pink Protoss. It is Ateshi from South Korea, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Korean Terran player, the purple Terran, representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. Go. As we settle into game 2, and welcome one and all to Sylphid. For those that maybe have not experienced this map before, this is a 3-player spawn map. 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in at top center, bottom left, or bottom right. So our players, it's on them to figure out where exactly their opponent is early on, and because of that, they can also go for otherwise more greedy builds and greedy openers, gambling a little bit, hoping that their opponent wouldn't be too cheesy or aggressive. Speaking of, hello, Probe. What's going on? Ateshi, okay, he's scouting. He's scouting. This makes sense. If you remember, in game 1, Ateshi also scouted, and he also shut down the proxy 3 racks of HonMonO. He forced out the question mark. It looks like, once again, Ateshi is scouting for a proxy here in the center of the map. Again, HonMonO has a reputation, so it makes sense to scout, and HonMonO is opening up double gas into a factory. No proxy, though. No proxy for HonMonO. No scout either. HonMonO has not seen anything as to what's going on. He doesn't care. Does not care. Ateshi, he's going to be checking that main base. Does confirm at least the production setup. Checking the vision here, Ateshi, he did get eyes on the factory as well. So knows that for now, HonMonO is on one base. For the time being. And we'll see if HonMonO expands or if he goes for another production building. Uh-oh. 1-1-1. Hyper aggressive build here by HonMonO. Massive delay on the command center on the CC with a 1-1-1. What are we going for exactly here? He's getting into an early Widow Mine, into, I would imagine, a medevac, into an early drop. Marine Widow Mine drop would make the most sense here for HonMonO. And we'll see if Ateshi can piece it together and defend. We shall see. For the time being, opening up Dragoon into Dragoon range makes sense. First Widow Mine does reveal itself here to the probe. Rule zone away. There's that medevac in production. Oh my god, okay. This is like borderline all in just because of how late the expansion is, but HonMonO, he's going for the Fusion Core. Fusion Core into one base BC after the drop. Crazy build here by HonMonO, going one base BC. We should be seeing a medevac, then an add-on swap to get the tech lab on the starport to go into BC production. And Ateshi, there would be no reason for him to think that this is coming his way. Like, this is a wild build. It is wild. Back at home, oh, interesting. Ateshi is going to be opening up Citadel. Citadel of Adun is on the way. What does this mean? This should lead into fast charge lots instead. So he's going to be rushing, I say charge lots, speed lots, maybe a better way of putting it. Rushing into Zealot legs. Meanwhile, the first drop has arrived. Again, Marine Widow Mine. Now, the goal here should be to save the Widow Mine. You don't want to waste the Widow Mine on the probes. You want to save it for the Dragoon. At least that's typically how it's done in SE2. As probes are being targeted, Widow Mine does burrow. And the shot, doesn't want to be wasted here on the probe. Yep, goes to the Dragoon. Shot goes up. And that's going to be 7 probe kills so far. Can he get 8? Gets a Dragoon. Does get 8 workers. 9 even. Oh my god. 9 probes go down alongside 1 Dragoon. 10 workers in total. Pretty good value. Pretty good damage. Not just that. HonMonO also scouts. He scouts. He confirms the Citadel of Adun as well. Is aware of the potential for speed lots. Likewise, back at home, very delayed CC. Very delayed command center here by HonMonO, which means even though HonMonO did a lot of economic damage, remember, he killed 10 probes, he is still behind in workers. HonMonO, he's still down in SCVs because of how late his expansion is. So it is good damage, but he needs more. The reality is that HonMonO, he needs more damage, and here comes the first BC teleporting into the natural. Teleports into natural, there we go, Zealot legs are on the way, as we did mention, with that Citadel. Dragoons are in the main, but they're not at the natural base, and probes are going to go down. Or are they? Shield Battery putting in a little work. Shield Battery does save the mineral line. Dragoons do respond. So far, so good. The BC has not done enough damage, and Ateshi is holding. Ateshi does hold. Second BC's on the way. Ateshi responding with a Stargate. With this, he can get into Scouts, get into Corsairs. BC going for the probe. Up! Gets one. One probe goes down. More BCs on the way. Yamato as well. Finally, HonMonO here will eventually expand. But again, it's just a very late expansion. Very awkward build here from HonMonO. As he is taking the main. Still only the one Stargate. I mean, to be fair, Ateshi doesn't know that we have additional BCs on the way and that Yamato has been researched. Oh, until now. There we go. Yamato is revealed. First Dragoon goes down. Nice pickup. Scout is on the way. Scout is on the way. Second BC comes in to reinforce. Third battlecruiser is now in production. And behind this, fast third TC. Okay, so HonMonO is trying to recover. He's trying to build up. He's trying to recover and get into a third expansion. And because of all this BC harass, the Dragoons are stuck at home. They're stuck at home. Another Yamato goes off. Down to 2 Dragoons. Shield Battery's not enough, and the Dragoon almost goes down. Nice pull away out of Ateshi. Ooh, another Dragoon falls. Entire army gets dragged over, and that means there's an opening here in the main. The Hellion drop. The Hellions, they bust into the middle. Probes are lighting up. No, they're lighting up. The probes, get out of here. 4 probe kills, 6 probes. Another volley goes off, 7 worker kills, and we might get an additional worker as well. Up to 8, up to 9. 9 probe kills. Scout does confirm the Stargate and Scout production. Second Stargate gets placed. And the BCs, they keep poking in. And they don't yet have the Yamato, but they're about to have one. Another Dragoon. Yamato's available. Another Dragoon kill. Just so much value here out of these BCs. Getting another probe. And they teleport back home. Once the Scouts arrive, they get the hell out of there. They teleport back, they repair, they top up. And the HonMonO, has he recovered? He's still down in SCVs, but he has mules. He has mules, so that can help him recover. Likewise, Ateshi, he was able to get his third base undisturbed. Third base was left completely alone. I believe HonMonO doesn't even know about it. Yeah, he hasn't even scouted. Ah, he's a diva enjoyer. Of course he is. God damn it. But he is unaware. And I have to be... I'm a little bit concerned here that Ateshi invests into too many scouts. Scouts, I think they have their place, especially against 3 BCs. But he has to be very careful not to overinvest, because outside of dealing with BCs, I mean, they don't really have much value. I say that is a 4th battlecruiser on the way. So HonMonO, I mean, he's committing quite hard to this. So... Okay. There is definitely rationale here for the high scout count. So far, so good. Building on more scouts. Likewise, it's going to be a mech-based army here for HonMonO, most likely going to Mass Cyclone again. Most likely. As scouts, oh, they do try to focus on the first BC, but they do need Dragoon support. Do quite a lot of damage. First BC has to teleport away. Second BC down to half HP, but the Yamatos, they pop off and the Scouts go down. Rushing into Carrier? Oh my god. The Dragoons are now just going to be responding, but the BCs, they hold their own. Honestly, the damage output from these Scouts was not too bad at all, but unfortunately, they were still overwhelmed. And Dragoons are still trying to keep up. Meanwhile, another Hellion drop into the main. BCs, they rotate over towards the right-hand side. They will confirm carrier production, of course. Oh, that's going to be more probe kills. And again, Scouts, they don't really help support at all. Oh, they can shut down the medevac, though. BCs moving on the right-hand side. Nothing in position. Hellions, they get 5 probe kills in the main. 6 probe kills, even. BCs are diving in. Yeah, they do get on top of the 4th, and the 4th base is under fire. Do you see that she's trying to keep up? Does respond. So the base is getting low, though. Shields have been stripped away. Yamato on the Scouts. Oof. Ah, and the Nexus is gonna fall. Couple more volleys. It's so close. It survives. Just barely. Oh my god, never mind. The final Yamato goes off. The base goes down. And HonMonO, he escapes. Does get out of there. He's up to 5 battle cruisers. Jesus. That's a lot of BCs. Did the carriers finish? They did. I don't think these carriers can really do well for themselves. Not against this kind of army, not yet. If Ateshi can reset the BC count, then sure. Then I can have faith in these carriers. But until then, the scout count is being replenished. Dragoons are trying to keep up. And HonMonO once again is moving out with his battle cruisers. So 6 battle cruisers in production. Jesus. Getting up to 6 BCs is insane. Carrier production once again. I'm not too fond of this, I'll be honest. I'm not too fond of getting into carriers this quickly. I mean, we'll see. Hellions, they distract the Dragoons. Where are the scouts? There's just one. Oh, only 1 scout. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, the scout falls. BCs, they dive into the main base. And I don't think carriers are the answer. They can just be Yamato down. Speaking of Yamato, going for the Stargates themselves. Making sure that carrier production does not continue. And does deny them. And he shuts down all 3 Stargates. They all fall. And that means that there is only Dragoons to defend. And as we've been saying, again, they are so immobile. We have more Stargates on the way. It looks like there might have been a bit of a pause there for a moment. Potentially. So those were fast messages. So HonMonO does rotate over towards the right-hand side. Going for the mineral line. Up. We get some probes. Not bad. 8, 9, 10 probes going down. 11 probe kills even. Good harass here from HonMonO. Likewise coming in from the north. Reinforcing on the south. More Hellion Cyclone. Do I want to know how many BCs he has? He's on 7. 7 BCs. That's critical mass. That's critical mass of BC. At this point, I almost want to say that if 7 BCs fight this Protoss army, then the BCs will win on their own. Like, they don't even need the Hellion Cyclone support. They can just Yamato the carriers and then just have their way with the Dragoons. Speaking of, Yamato's going to be going up. Oh, he mules to repair. BCs are being kept up. Oh, there's going to be a TT response instead. But every single BC does survive. The mules are cleaned up by the Dark Templar. Morphing into Dark Archons, but likewise they're going to be targeted down as well. 1 BC goes down. 2 BCs. Let's go. He gets 2, he gets 3. Nice target firing out of Ateshi. Does target down 3 battle cruisers, but there's still 3 left. Oh my god. Still 3 remaining, and throughout all this, 10 Cyclones at a time. 10 Cyclones at a time here for HonMonO. Aye, aye, aye. He's hunting down the BC, sorry, the carrier. He wants it. She's gonna get the hell out of here. At the same time, Mass Cyclone here on the right-hand side gets a mineral line. Oof. That's gonna be 15 and plus probes going down. And from here, it looks like HonMonO is snowballing out of control. He's snowballing out of control here. As a carrier falls to the Mass Cyclone. Again, carriers were not going to be the answer here. I mean, if we can hit critical mass, I do think they can trade well against Cyclone, but in small numbers like that, so they can just be bullied. They will just be bullied. As HonMonO looking for another another carrier. Doesn't quite get it. As they do push in. Denying an expansion. Ateshi is down to 3 bases. Down to a 3-base economy. HonMonO's got a 40 supply lead. And even though he may have lost a couple of BCs, he's still on 6. Still on 6 battle cruisers. He lost 3. As another expansion goes down. Dragoons either this time they're in position. Let's go. This time they're ready. Cyclones, they collapse on the carrier. 1, 2 carriers go. Yeah, they can just be chased down at this point. They can just be chased down. The Dark Archon, of course, is just purely a spellcaster. Just a supportive unit. GG gets called, and HonMonO, he will snowball out of control. He will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the decider match. GG. Ooh. Oh my god. GG, well played. Ooh. HonMonO does take the series 2-0, again flexing his mech, flexing his mass cyclone. I mean, this last game here, he was a lot more unorthodox, rushing into BCs on one base into a delayed expansion, and we saw how valuable those BCs were. It took so long to even kill the first BC. The first BC died like 3/4 of the way through the game. It was insane just how much value the BCs were getting. And again, a big reason for that, as I was saying before, a big reason, I mean, to the success of this playstyle from HonMonO is just how immobile the Brood War Protoss army is. Towards the end, because of the higher supply, we saw that Ateshi was able to split up his army and be in position towards those final engagements, but towards the early to mid game, he just had a very hard time keeping up, and HonMonO was just all over him. It's all over him. And with that, GG. GG, well played. HonMonO does advance on to the decider match, and we have our next series upon us. Oh boy. The final series of Group D, it is going to be a TvZ between Dark and HonMonO. And I'm excited because, if you recall, we casted Dark earlier against Euthermal, and even Dark against his previous opponent as well. We haven't really seen much Brood War Zerg out of Dark. We did see him go Mass Hydra previously against Ateshi. True. Did go Mass Hydra against Ateshi, but we haven't been able to see his Brood War Zerg against Terran yet. And I'm excited. I do want to see it. I hope to see it, I should say.